Hello, souls. It's a Sunday morning, and I just came out of my connecting time. This is a way that I was taught from these visitations, these inspirations that arrive in my consciousness because of all of these huge transformative experiences. It has blasted open my consciousness, and I receive downloads. Um, the more that I expand and heal and grow, the higher the vibration, the more that I unlock. And I'd like to translate some of what came to me just 45 minutes ago. I never know now the form that it's going to come in. Last 15 years, the form has been in the Sound of Gold files, where I brought through these messages about now and how to prepare for now, because this is the opening. This is where we have the greatest potential, certainly in our lifetimes, to access and more, and to heal more, and to expand more. So the way that the download happened in my connecting time this morning, it came through my willingness to speak my truth, and then when I got to the space, the way I was taught how to do this through the downloads, then I shift into when I can feel that I'm in the zone, and I'm able to connect, I inquire. And my inquiry, my level of inquiry has changed, of course, over the years. And I want to try and translate as much as I possibly can, because those of us who have led these very unusual lives, in most cases, they've been very difficult lives where we've been, we've had to be repeatedly broken open, so that we don't, I'm saying we because I've met and I communicate with others like me, as you know, through the experiencer dialogues, and even more that is not made public. But we're not allowed to get lost again in this very limited spectrum of reality. So whenever, in my case, whenever I started to, like, I want an identity and I want a purpose, and I'm going to choose from this small circle of who I am and what I can be. And while that never felt, that never felt right to me. Nothing here felt right to me, nothing at all. And this is a common comment by those like myself. So here's what I'd like to share. Some of us come here to help. All of us come here with the capacity to help, to awaken and to help. Some of us have transcended this three-dimensional world. And as we move through these markers, we remember we've been here before. And so we have help, and it's like a relay team, a tag team. And it's a tag team that's not only in 3D, like we see each other, they show up, and a lot of times this is on the internet. And it's like the response when you hear their voice and they're speaking just like you, like it's uncanny how much they're speaking like you, and they've had the experiences, and they, you know, we're all doing our best to keep with the, you know, the mission, if you will, to stay awake and to keep receiving data and passing it on to those because who have an opportunity to expand out of this limited reality, this limited spectrum. So when I hear some of these people speaking, when I'm fortunate enough to experience the synchronicities that where they show up in my reality, I get my codes get triggered, and it's like, oh, that has arrived, that data has arrived. Then it triggers the data within me, and I go, oh, now I'm supposed to share this, or I can share more now. It's time to unlock more. Because it's a very, very gradual way of unlocking. See, it's all through the frequencies of what we are choosing to make conscious and heal, and then make room for this process to work more consciously and more powerfully on all levels. The larger spectrum, but also some of us came here to specifically broadcast into the 3D limited spectrum of consciousness. Now, when I say 3D limited consciousness, it's not a judgment. It's what you were born into and indoctrinated within. But we all carry these divine codes within us. And I'm here to help unlock you through what I share and through resonance. There are many others that are here too, to help you unlock. Now, because there are so many layers of this, I'm going to bring in an image that had come through a download originally. I don't know how long ago it was, but gosh, what was that video called? Bridging Between Worlds, where I believe that was the one where I shared this imagery. Then one of the, about a month ago, I spoke to my dear friend Zuzana V, a fellow experiencer that you're probably familiar with if you watch the videos of the experiencer dialogues. I described it to her, and she, being the lovely being that she is, she created the image of it for me in pastels. And I want to use this image to describe what it was that I was shown this morning. So this is what Zuzana drew, and I'm not doing the share image thing because I have to go with too much left brain to maneuver. So I'm staying here. So this is what Zuzana did for me, drew for me with the pastels. And I'm so grateful to her. Thank you, Zuzana. And it showed me these sedimentary layers. Okay, this can be viewed as dimensions, but it's also layers within dimensions. Okay, so when we're born here, I realize there's an outline of a human here, but I'm not going to reference this so much right now, because I'm not going to unpack for you the layers of how the human body interacts with these layers. When we're born here, we're born into, let's say this is the limited spectrum right here. We're born into just this, right? Sorry, not showing this properly to you. We're born into just, let's say, this region, okay? And this is where we're born into it, and we begin to be programmed into this reality. And all of the generations that have come before us have gone through this same process of being born into just this 3D spectrum. Okay? And some people have experiences that, you know, blast them out of this region, see? And what happens when we have one of these transformative experiences is it blasts out in both directions. So while we're taught with the New Age material that, you know, most of us think ascension, just to borrow that term. I try to use the word transcendence, but ascension is the buzzword these days. So a lot of people just think linearly, like we're raising our vibration and we're going higher, and here we are, and boom, we're free. But what I'm shown is that in the transformative experience, like I said, you're blasted in both directions. Whoa, what happened? What is this? You know, it's a pure, direct experience of higher vibrations. Let's just put it that way. And when eventually, when you return to everyday life, you're faced with, you know, let's say this is an NDE, or you have a visitation from an interdimensional being, let's say. It takes you beyond this spectrum. How you return, how you integrate it, and what you do with that gift is up to you. So some people, a lot of people will have an experience, and this is a good chunk of the population has had a transformative experience, but they have forgotten it. It's buried. So when you return to this spectrum, you can keep going with the expansion if you make it visible in your life, which means you tell the truth. You fearlessly move forward and you say, I'm going to own this. I'm going to talk about it. I know that was real. I know that was what you'll hear a lot of experiencers say. It was more real than this life that we think is real, right? And it is. It's more real than just these layers that we've adapted to, that we've been indoctrinated into and told that this is reality. And we've bought into it. and we have been easily controlled and manipulated because we have. So some people will have an experience. Here's another route that they may go. They search for the answer to it, or even just a seeker who hasn't had a massive experience that transformed them. But the result will be, for a lot of people, how do I explain this? Oh, it's that. It's called that. And this is, and there's so much material on it, you know, whether that's spaceships and UFOs or magic or Kundalini or whatever it is that you go searching for, and you find evidence of it here. In this spectrum, you find evidence of it. And so you go, that's what it is. And it's a wonderful thing that it shows up here. A lot of times souls come in just to plant this wisdom. So it will show up in 3D because it's a starting place. But what some souls do with these transformative experiences, or just the great desire to know more, is an identity will be built around this model. And so you adapt back into 3D or higher, you know, like 4D, maybe touching into 5D, or just more layers of perception and gifts. Okay, but it's still translated back through that 3D spectrum. Let me see if I can put this down for a bit. What is being asked of us now, and what the opportunity is to blast out of this spectrum for good, to transcend it. And what this means is understanding that it isn't just rising in vibration and poof, all is well. I am the angel being that I am now, and I can float away and leave this God-forsaken place. And a lot of times people have, you know, a crisis in their faith in religion, because in that smaller spectrum, in this 3D spectrum, it's like, where is God? You know, we pray and we pray and we pray, and look what's happening still. Why isn't anybody rescuing us, right? It's only God forsaken because we haven't embodied more of these dimensions that were given to us, more of our capacities. So we've agreed to cut ourselves off from our connection to, let's call it the true God, our original source. And instead we have taken an image of God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Worshipping false idols. You know, some of my Bible stuff is coming back. That is what we're doing with these religions that say that you need an intermediary, and the priest will do it for you, the preacher. They can certainly inspire us, and they can be very healing and supportive to us, but their program is to survive in 3D. So the overall programming for religion is not to allow you to remember that you have this direct conduit to your original source creator. Now in Christianity, which I can't speak to any other religion because I was, exposed to Christianity in my childhood. Church has reduced this into Jesus is the light and the way, and that there's so many misunderstandings there. Jesus, whom I just love the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, and in the Gnostic scriptures as well. He was here to remind you of these things, that this is the kingdom of heaven is within, and you have this ability to connect, to not only connect in this direction, but to connect in both directions, the heart of, the Maya call it the heart of heaven and the heart of earth. And you have this spark within you that can be ignited, and you can remember, you can be taken to these places in these transformative experiences where you fully remember. Oh, I get it. I totally get it. All the blanks are filled in, and you know. And that's what happens in these experiences. In my own, throughout my life, you are transported, you transcend this limited spectrum of consciousness, and you're reintroduced to the truth. And then that's the amazing, wonderful stuff. Then you have to come back to this spectrum, and you have to try and communicate what you learned. It's important to be aware of the tendency to just stop, set up camp, build a civilization, build a model that you can just stay in until you die. It's important to keep moving. It's important to keep expanding, even though you can't explain it. The more that we try to explain it, the more we're deferring to 3D as the only reality. So if we're not moving forward because most others aren't, that doesn't serve you, because you have, as I was saying earlier, you have an opportunity to expand now and transcend this. The universe is working with you right now in this opening. And that love wants to expose us to more of who we are, so that in this timing, we have this extraordinary opportunity to completely redefine our reality. But we have to completely redefine who we are. And while it's real easy to talk about all the spiritual stuff, and isn't this cool? And oh, we're expanding, we're ascending. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be. It's not a future event. The past and the future are coming together right now. All of your lifetimes, all of the lives around you, in your family, friends, communities, it's all in this perfect position to be transformed. And it's all done through your consciousness. If you wait for someone else to do this for you, you wait for somebody to, lead the way and tell you what to do, well, that's what you're seeing right now. Many of you are acting in fear. The ego You hand it over to the ego, and the ego says, oh, look, here's an answer. And it's really mysterious and kind of cool and cryptic. And so let's just grab onto that. And that'll be our identity now, right? Or some people are saying, we need to go back to when it was good. And if you pay attention to some of the stories out of history, it's hard to find a time period that was all good. It doesn't work that way. When you have all these missing pieces from your consciousness and you focus just on 3D and you say, yeah, this is life. And then you hand it over to your ego mind, your intellect. You say, you're in charge of this 3D reality. And we stuff down our feelings. We dismiss soul. We have easily dismissed soul. Got to work hard. No pain, no gain. But you know, the control only happens because you agree to hang out in this spectrum. Now, I know you don't have a lot of examples of how to transcend the spectrum. You've been pointed to a few religions that have ended up slaughtering each other to fight over whose version of a loving God is the correct one. So when I inquire in these connecting times, especially set aside on Sunday mornings, I move through the practice that they taught me in the downloads, where I speak the truth. I arrive in a place of balance and humming and resonance. And then I get to a place where I admit things are not working. And I want healing. I say, I need this. I'm asking for this to be healed. And I'm willing. I am willing to see it, see the truth of this. I'm willing to see beyond just the spectrum I was given. So what happened in this connecting time this morning was I said, I feel the mother, the missing mother. How can I embrace her and help her to be more visible here? Because I know that is our final stage at this time is to, I don't know, rescue her, reveal her. So I was taken down into, I was shown that if we move into the just the depths of this honesty and the pain and the suffering and the unconscious behaviors, if we're willing to say, this is happening, this is actually happening, and I'm asking for healing. This could be a health issue too, or scarcity, or fighting arguments between ideologies. It's like you just want to get to the truth. Please give me the truth. So I was taken down this stairway in the vision till I got to the bottom floor, and it was a prison. And the mother was sitting behind the plexiglass, like when you go visit an inmate. And it's like you pick up the receiver and you speak to the inmate. Hello, mother. And she acknowledged me. And I asked her, what do I have to do to set you free? Speak the truth, always. Shatter the spell. This pretending that she doesn't exist and that the soul isn't important. Each and every one of you has the mother imprisoned within you, and that is your spark. That is your divine spark that Spirit is asking you to discover, to rediscover again, and to bring forth. When we do this healing work, what happens when we're honest here and we speak our truth here in this spectrum, a light is shown here and the light is here. It's in both places. So what comes into this present moment truth speaking is wounding from the past, even from the beginning of time. It lights it up and it says, this needs light right now. Are you courageous enough? Are you brave enough to bring light to this layer of wounding? And a lot of times it's other lifetimes resonating with this now moment wounding, right? But we can't even get to those layers until we tell the truth here. And if you refuse to tell the truth here and you keep play acting, because that's what this is all a theater. We're just in this like a virtual reality. It's not even real. I mean, it's real, but just like a movie is real, or the movie you're watching on a screen. Yeah, the movie's real, but you're not online with all of this enormous spectrum of consciousness that you can have access to. So when you're truthful here, it lights up here and here. And the more that you do this torus, T-O-R-U-S, lights up. You come online to the universe. You come online to your original source creator. You come online with the heart of heaven and the heart of earth. You come online with the spirit, original source, and you come online with the mother. And I've referred to this before. This is the marriage. This is the heart. This is the will. This is the father. This is the mother. All of this lines up again, and you're restored. You don't turn into something that you're not. You restore. You're original. state, natural state. And then we can proceed. Then we can proceed to evolve or create in whatever landscapes we choose to create. But until we do this and we restore our natural state, we're going to keep recycling into this small spectrum and calling it reality. Your original source creator cannot hear you here. The universe doesn't talk in lies, misunderstandings, a reducing of the truth. It is the truth that sets you free, not some movie version of it in 3D. So it takes courage to start to speak the truth here. And this is what the mother has shown me in my work with her in the past few years. Speak the truth here. The lower, more ancient, if you want to speak in terms of time, it isn't really about time, but it's bridging all of this past wounding, all of this denial, all of this shame that most aren't even conscious of. It's so deep. It's so suppressed. But once that spark ignites and spirit meets the mother again, this is healed. You're healed. So this is my work. I'm doing this on an individual level. And a lot of people that are here now, we help others to remember this. We guide others through this so that they can help awaken humanity in truth, not by building a new model because you saw something and then matched it in 3D, which brings you further back into 3D to define it. And then you never get beyond. You might, get some insights, but as long as you come back and you look for it in 3D and you say, oh, that's what it's called. You just keep remodeling and redefining it within this smaller spectrum. You have to be courageous enough to go, I don't know. I want the energy of love to inform me. I want to learn beyond language. I want to learn with the heart. I want to adapt to the grace that I am. The limited spectrum will not tell you about the grace that you are. Because there's this group of humans and non-humans that benefit from you agreeing that this is all there is. And it's a game. It's a money game. It's about, who can win the game, who can achieve the most power and the most resources. That's, welcome to hell. If that's what it's about, then That's what being a sinner is. Sin is defined as missing the mark. It means that you don't understand that you're more. There's more to this than you think. And if you've just got the ego and the mind running things in this limited spectrum, then that is where you will stay until you stop and you say, I want to heal. I want to transcend this. I choose love. I want to set the mother free within me. I want to be this chalice, this container for this wedding between spirit and the mother, the heart of heaven and the heart of earth. I am willing to transform this within me so that others around me can see that this is what the truth is. So that's why it's important that you be bold, because it's all up to you. Nobody's going to do this for you. As soon as you start taking responsibility for your own consciousness and where you're putting your energy and what you're agreeing to and how you pay your energy to those who are only tricking you to stay, you have to wake up to that. And if you don't want to, I get it. I get it. We get to choose. I mean, if you love this, this is what you want to do, you get to choose that. But right now, what you're watching happen is more and more people, more and more souls are coming home. People are remembering more and they're embodying more of their souls. And the more you do this, the more it's going to appear and be crazy. It's destroying this group belief that this was all real. See, that's what you're watching happen. It's okay that it's being destroyed. Your job right now is to keep choosing this love and keep expanding with it and keep trusting in the actual creator, not the one you were given in the story, in the make-believe. Truth arrives on all levels. You will see the truth. It shows up here too. But it only shows up here to say, look, this is true. This is actual. Did you feel that? Now, engage with it. Dialogue with it. Let it lift you beyond just these few layers of the sediment. Your mind, your ego is going to say, hell no, I'm not familiar with this. That's the unknown. Well, it's only the unknown because you've agreed lifetime after lifetime after lifetime that this is real. And this is all there is. Right now you have an opportunity to remember your soul and to bring it back. This isn't about running away. It's about bringing your soul home. You are an extraordinary divine being. Now, whether you've had any markers, you've experienced any markers of that in your life or not, a lot of human beings here are experiencing this. Listen to the ones who are having direct experiences, not defined by what was given to them, to believe. Again, what they showed me is don't believe in anything. Because if you take the words be and leave, like leaving to go to the store, be, leave. If you leave your being, that's when all this programming can occur. But if you know and you trust that this will be given to you directly, it will come. It will help you to heal. It will come. And there are more and more people, and part of my inspiration is to develop communities where we can reinforce this in each other. And that's how we come back online and we transcend this lower spectrum reality. No one can do you harm if you choose consciously to heal and to expand and to restore the truth of who you are. Your natural being, your original design. I speak with authority now, and you'll hear me more and more speaking this way. Because part of my challenge is to own it and to be it. And I'm inspired by others like myself who have had to, now get how weird this sounds, who have had to endure the fallout from ecstasy, from remembering the truth of our Creator, our Father, Mother, God, split. And we are the ones who bring it back together again. That's how important you are in this awakening. So part of my own lessons is overcoming this fear of being visible. So here I am, still doing my best to explain the landscapes beyond a very small reality that we all bought into on one level or another. I want you to know who you are. And I want you to know, again, that whatever's happening, whatever craziness is happening out there, it's a show, it's theater. Find this anchoring within you of the divine. So you're taking your anchor that you placed, you were taught to place out into the world. And you're reclaiming it and saying, I am anchored in love. I am anchored in the kingdom of heaven within. Even if that's all I can say and that's all I know, because I don't know how it works. But if you do this and you say, I'm here, I choose love, I choose to be directed by love, and I trust that I will know what I need to know when I need to know it. I will feel it. And I will continue to show up and say, I am willing to heal whatever needs to be healed so that I may come back together again with the truth of who I am and embody it and inspire others around me. I love you. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you the next inspiration.